Instead of a speech, I have prepared a spoken word presentation that highlights the way I view leadership after my time in Solomon. My name is Aidan McKinnon, and I will be performing an original poetic piece entitled Leader. I would like to dedicate this piece to my mentor, Mrs. Silverman, and the future leaders of society. Thank you. Leadership. It weathers the storms of evil. It brings together a world of people. It imbues hope in the eyes of the diminished and fights the perpetual negativity in the world until it is all but finished. Even still, the world is suffering as wars and disagreements persist. We find it smothering, as it seems there is no light at the end of the tunnel. It's as if hopes are slowly draining down a funnel. But leadership, something that can't be so easily abandoned, the call from society that is so frequently demanded. Many have the potential to don this title. However, most don't possess the qualities that are so vital. Many interpretations of the proper qualifications float around the minds of all who hope to lead. In light of this, a list of pillars designed to help discern from fillers naturally begins with the development of character. Character highlights morals and values, which when faced with a wave of change, you must refuse. Next is tolerance, the quality that decides the side of leadership we reside on. Communication follows, possessing the ability to alter the validity of thoughts turned words. A vision, required to predict events that may transpire as well as extinguish any proverbial fires. Empowerment, a starving society's sustenance, fighting off a predisposition to sufferance. Persistence, a leader's weapon against despair. Strategy, a plan enacted to illustrate a reality. And judgment, the opinion of one twisted into a decision for all. Leader, a person possessing these qualities, appeasing to both sides of the societal dichotomy. Thank you.
Alright, good evening everyone. My name is Alex Wynn, and throughout my journey in the Solomon Leadership Program, we had the privilege of hearing from esteemed guest speakers, each sharing valuable insights from their leadership experiences through the lens of our pillars. Tonight, I'm excited to highlight a couple of my takeaways from these inspirational individuals, whose candid words of wisdom have left a lasting impact on us all. During the program, we were fortunate to learn from Stephen G. Canton, a member of Solomon's board and senior partner at Anacostia Ventures for Character. Moving on, AJ Stiegman, international chess champion and the founder and CEO of StiegNet for Tolerance. And finally, State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg for Communication. Each speaker shared invaluable lessons about leadership, offering practical advice and personal anecdotes that resonated deeply with us. Among the many insights we gained, a few lessons stood out to me. My first ever lesson was way back in the character pillar, taught by none other than Mr. Canton himself. He started the lesson with a strange statement saying he could tell who in the room liked him and who didn't just from a glance. At first, I wondered, why would he say this to a group of people he just met? However, the longer he talked, the more I understood that his strong sense of self was a part of his character. Fast forward to today, I can proudly say that Mr. Canton's ability to be himself has inspired me to become the person I am right now. Moving on to Mr. Stiegman, he covered the tolerance pillar and shared his experience as a chess champion, as well as his difficult journey to reach that point. He received death threats and faced numerous setbacks in life, but despite this, he persevered and kept a cool head. Whenever I am faced with an outright aggravating situation, I am always reminded of Mr. Stiegman's ability to navigate the consequences of his actions, take a step back, and truly assess what I am doing. Finally, on to Mr. Ehrenberg. He spoke on behalf of the communication pillar, and through sharing his journey, he also shared with us communication tips, as well as exploring how everybody has their own speaking style. Now, whenever I speak in front of a public group, I always hear his voice in my head telling me to gaze at the crowd, something that I have taken seriously. Thank you. And there are just a few of the many important lessons that we gain from our guest speakers throughout the program. I'm immensely grateful to each speaker for sharing their wisdom and insights with us, shaping us into the leaders we aspire to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lydia Park, and I'm honored to discuss the messages of 3 or more guest speakers with you. We were lucky to be addressed by Sarah McCann, founder and visionary of Hive Collection for Vision, Kayla Macias, youth activist and student at the Columbia School of Social Work for Empowerment, and Vahan H. Garagan, founder and CEO of CSMI and recent recipient of the Solomon Moral Courage Award for the Persistence Pillar. 2 of the messages that especially resonated with me were Garagan's message on persistence and Macias' message on empowerment. Garagan shared his approach towards remaining persistent, completely altering my idea of what it meant to be a persistent leader, not only for myself, but as an example for others. Garagan emphasized that persistence has to derive from positivity and curiosity. This outlook enables not only us as leaders, also us as humans to view our failures as an opportunity for growth and opportunity to further your curiosity, and also to succeed and make an impact. Like Mr. Garagan said, never take no for an answer. Missy's lesson on empowerment not only empowered me, but developed my skill as a leader. Missy introduced the Japanese term ikigai, a concept that encourages people to discover what truly matters to them and to live a life filled with purpose and joy. With this, I learned that by being comfortable in ourselves, we can extend trust and confidence to others, unlocking their leadership potential. In turn, which fosters a strong and empowered community where everyone can grow. These lessons made a big impression on me and how I now speak grandly about my passions and endeavors. The Solomon Leadership Program has empowered me as an individual with the knowledge that I, a student and teen, can make an impact in my community. Thank you. I'd now like to call up Rutger Ryan to share highlights from the last 2 guest speakers.
Thank you, Lydia. I'm honored to conclude with the 2 final speakers of the year, who demonstrated for us the practical execution of all we learned through the pillars of strategy and judgment. Our last 2 speakers were Congressman Brian Mast, who represents Florida's 21st Congressional District for Strategy, and Mr. John Scully, an American entrepreneur and former CEO of Apple, for judgment. Both speakers really brought the message home, each in their own way. Congressman Brian Mast emphasized the importance of strategy in leadership. In order to take on each leadership's challenge, strategy is needed. Despite all the challenges he has faced, Congressman Mast has powered through it all with the biggest message I took from him: a smile. He told us, if you quit, you will quit again, something that has truly inspired me, alongside seeing how far he has come with the mindset he has built for himself. Like Congressman Mast said, don't waste your life, have drive, fortitude, and most importantly, dream big and do what you can to bring it to fruition. Ending our closing chapter of the 8 pillars, John Scully shared with us the lessons of judgment. A renowned leader who paved the way for his companies to achieve the growth they had, Mr. Scully taught us that it is key to listen to what people have to say, to strengthen collaboration and aid in making important judgments. Don't let what scares you stop you from reaching your goals. Left a lasting impact on me to take on whatever obstacle we are faced with courage. We learned how to live with our vulnerabilities and prioritize values and others before ourselves when making judgments. Thank you to each and every speaker who spent their valuable time with us, bravely opened the floor for our questions, and provided wise answers. I know we will all remember each of the stories the guest speakers and mentors shared with us and will carry it with us as the new leaders we are today. Thank you.
And I am honored to stand before you today as we come together to celebrate our graduation. As you just heard from Alex, Lydia, and Rika, we each took unique messages and life lessons from the accomplished guest speakers we were privileged to spend time with. One meaningful message for me was from former member of the Florida State Senate, Dave Ehrenberg, who said, "In this world, it's not necessarily what you know, but who you know." I have found these wise words of wisdom inspiring, as each speaker and mentor has brought me insight on how I would like to lead my life. I have used these words to reach out of my comfort zone to forge eternal bonds with members of my community. I truly credit Solomon for my confidence in myself and my positive outlook on my future. Tonight, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our esteemed final guest speaker, Admiral Thomas C. Lynch, whose words to these graduating fellows will be the final message we will hear today. Admiral Thomas C. Lynch retired from the U.S. Navy after a decorated 32-year career. A graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, his naval assignments include Chief, Navy Legislative Affairs, Commander of the Eisenhower Battle Group during Operation Desert Shield, Superintendent of the U.S. Naval Academy from 1991 to 1994, and Director of the Navy Staff at the Pentagon from 1994 to 1995. He was also the captain of the 1963 Navy Cotton Bowl team with teammate Roger Staubach in I'm so sorry. It's Heisman winning quarterback. In 2010, Admiral Lynch was awarded the USNA Distinguished Graduate Award. After retiring from the Navy, he served in senior positions in several different companies. Admiral Lynch is currently co-chairman of the New Day USA Foundation and a member of the Solomon Board. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Admiral Lynch as he shares his insight and wisdom with us tonight. I am sure we will each take away an important message about being the leaders of the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Hey there, what a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. Yeah, as a matter of fact, thanks to Rob Posner, I'm here this evening because 4 or 5 hours ago, I was in Texas with Staubach. It's Staubach, by the way. Roger the Dodger, Staubach, and of course the ladies in the audience and some of the younger group haven't never heard that name before. I don't know. But Roger was Heisman Trophy winner at the Naval Academy when we had our great teams back in those days. And then spent 4 years on active duty, 13 months in Vietnam. And then went with the Dallas Cowboys and was captain of America's team and Hall of Fame and all that other. But, and I was, when we played together, I was both a center on offense and a linebacker on defense. So when I would introduce him over the years, I would always say, without me, you never would have heard of him. So, and then he would say, with Lynch blocking for me, that's how I got the moniker Roger the Dodger. So it's payback's a heck. But anyhow, first of all, to our students, congratulations. I mean, I'm so very proud and thankful to be here, a member of your board. Thanks to Rabbi Shiner and Mark, I appreciate that very much. And Rob introduced me to this group. And it was just at a time when I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to be 82 here in a couple of weeks, which that was a few weeks ago. And so I am 82, if we're the same. But anyhow, that's beside the point. The point was, what do you do at my age? What can I give back? What can I do in any way? And Larry, you must have been prescient because you to come up with this with the rabbi some 5 years ago, because that's what we need to do. We as elderly people, in fact, I was reading, there's a book out, you all should read this because it's about Israel, and it's a great book. We read the Startup Nation, the two authors. I have also written the Genius of Israel, and I was reading it over the weekend, and they talked about a Boston Globe study where only 6% of elderly Americans discuss serious matters with younger people. That's where we are today. Because our younger people, they're doing the social media, they're boom, 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 and we just don't have much to talk about, and but we should, with all the issues that we face in this country. So I feel very, very proud that I'm a part of this organization now, and for you mentors I hope to be a mentor, as you have done. You've done such a great job with these young people. I've seen it and observed it, and I've talked to the young people. And of course, the parents, to give up your child, that's a real positive thing there too. And then to see their growth, you got to be very, very, very proud. So it's a proud night for all of us. And those 8 pillars really means something. But I want to share that one of the things I would like to do today, I don't want to preach. We've all been to college graduations and different graduations where whoever gets up there preaches. I don't want to preach. What I thought I would do, if it's okay, you have no choice, I guess. But what I thought I would do is just share some of my life experiences. And if they're helpful to you, fine. Because that's what you've learned in the 8 pillars, is take those things that are meaty things that we just learned about a little while ago, and tuck those away and have those for your future leadership endeavors and whatever they may be. But so I know you've had the 8 pillars, but we also, there's one overriding one that I'll talk about a little bit later, and I think my team there from New Day would be disappointed if I didn't talk a little bit about Shipmate Self. But the selflessness, which I think covers all and is the ultimate for any leader. I will say too, in reading this book, they talked about what makes you happy. And they talked to young people like you, and they came up, hey, if I had $1 million, I'd be very happy. If I was a famous person, I'd be very happy. But when you really think about it, and you get to be my age, and you look back, again, another grant study that they started 80 years ago with, they were all male at Harvard at the time, but 80, about, I don't know the exact number, but back 80 years ago, they were Harvard students, and but they've been tracking them all through the years, and they've realized something that is pretty self-evident, but the people who wind up the happiest and the healthiest are people who have more social connections, connections of all kinds, not just intimate partners, but friends and work colleagues and casual relationships, all add up to happier and healthier life as you get older. I've seen that in my own life. I know some of the parents here have seen the same thing. And it came up because in the book that I referenced earlier, the authors were talking about why is Israel one of the happiest countries in the world. Why is that? They're in a tough neighborhood. They got bombs raining down on them quite a bit. And you never know what's going to happen next week. But they are the happiest because they are, and they go through a lot of different reasons, but they're there because they are a close-knit family of people. They're in that company, despite whether Arabs or Jews or whatever they may be, they're together in a close-knit group of people, and it makes a difference. And that's why Israel can claim to be one of the happiest countries in the world, which I thought was eye-opening for me, and I wanted to share that with you. So I said I was going to share a few things from my life. First of all, a kid grew up in Northwest Ohio. I had 3 brothers and a baby sister. Grandfather lived with us, my middle-class family, hardworking people, and but we were close-knit too. And but we had our parents. Neither of my parents, no one in my family had ever been to college. No one in my family had ever been in the military. That comes up a little bit later, but no one in my family had been in college or the military. But my parents insisted their 5 kids are going to go to college. So when I was growing up, and your age, maybe a little younger, I had 3 goals. Go to college, had no idea what that was. Be an engineer, because I looked around, they seemed to make the most money, and marry a pretty girl. That one I knew, and that one I did. I married my high school sweetheart, but I lost her in 2010. After 46 years of marriage, we have 10 great grandchildren. So we have a great legacy there. But then in my environment when I grew up, there was no social media, and you respected your authority, whether it be your teacher, whether it be your coach, whether it be your uncle, obviously your parents, and your leadership, your civil leadership, whether it was your church or your government. And there was no thought of anything but that, and our whole environment supported that. Our music, our literature, our coaches, teachers, I mean, everybody was working together. So when I went to the Naval Academy a little later on, that was just a continuation of what I had 18 years in Lima, Ohio. And that's a little bit different today. And that's why this program here is so doggone important. You've learned something here in this past year as a fellow that not too many of your contemporaries are learning today. In fact, very few. And I'll get to that a little bit later too, but my parents also were religious people, and they said, you know, you do everything you do in life, you work as hard as you can, and you're going to come up with challenges, you're going to have problems. When that comes up, you pray on it, and then you leave the rest up to God. Now, that's been a philosophy of life for me. I'm proud to admit that. I'm not ashamed to admit that in any way, because now I can sit back and tell all of you, at age 82, I do not have a regret in my life. Did I have some hardships? Did I have some problems? Did I make errors in my life? Oh yeah, we all did. Could I have been a better parent for have I been a better child for my parents? Probably. Could I have been a better parent for my children? Maybe. Could I have gone higher in the Navy, made more money in life? Hey, I gave it my best shot. I gave it 110% in everything that I did. And then when it got up to, you've got to make a decision based on your experience, your knowledge, your gut, your intelligence, your experiences. You make the decision, it's over with. You've done it, and whatever happens is on you, and you go from there with your Lord and Master. So and then hopefully you'll be my age someday, and you'll be saying the same thing to young folks. So as I said, I wound up, I knew I had to get a scholarship. There was no money in the piggy bank. I wanted to go to college. It had to be a scholarship. And fortunately, the Naval Academy came through. I wound up in an appointment there. And while at the Naval Academy, I learned a Latin phrase, non sibi sed patriae, not self, but country. And that resonated with me. And 13 years later, when I graduated, I went into surface warfare as opposed to aviation or submariners or marine, but I became a surface guy, you know, John Wayne, cruisers and destroyers and battleships and all that. But, and when I took over the command of that ship, finally had command of my own ship. That's the epitome of life for surface warfare officers, have command at sea. It's just you and the sea and your men. And 300 sailors, we were all male at the time, and took over that ship, and I did not get the cream of the crop. I had a mediocre ship at best, but you know, and then it was post-Vietnam malaise had set in. It was August of 1977, so I had that ship from August of 77 to August of 80. We were gone from our home port. I had for 36 months. We were at sea or away from our home port for over 30 of those 36 months because we didn't have the ships that we needed to have, as we are kind of in that situation right now, our Navy. So as a result, we lost a lot of senior petty officers. So we had drug problems, we had race problems, we had alcohol problems, and we had a shortage of petty officers. Not a fun combination, and many of my crew members were eligible for food stamps. We were too proud to do that. So in that situation, you still have to run the ship. We're in the height of the Cold War, East versus West. The Soviets come over the horizon at any point in time. You have to be fully ready at any moment. And so after a while, I'm saying, why am I the only guy on this ship thinking this way? Why is it you? And so by the time I left that ship, I had a philosophy established on that ship of shipmate, self. If you're going to be a sailor on this ship, every thought, word, and deed. Think of that. Every thought, word, and deed. What effects is it going to have on my ship? What effects is it going to have on my shipmate? And then what about me? What effects is it going to have on myself? Now I submit to you, and you read the 8 pillars. Now think of selflessness over that. That's what you have to do as a leader. Every great leader I've known has put themselves last. And the things and what we accomplished on that ship, we went from mediocre ship to the #1 ship of 350 in the Atlantic Fleet, so recognized. We made every commitment. And my most proud moment is when I left that ship. I had we got the Golden Anchor Award, which was the highest retaining ship. So not only would the sailor spend 4 years, 6 years in a very arduous situation, but then ship over, re-enlist to be with his teammate, with the people he's with, because he believed in the mission. So I say that because every one of you are going to be a leader in this country. We need you, as Dr. Johnson said, we need you as a leader in this country. Just think of all the issues that we are faced right now. Think of our adversaries. Think of the debt problem. Think of climatology. Think of the aliens we have in this country, or the people who come across the border, 10 million, we don't know where they are. We don't know what they're going to do, what's going on. And we see in living color evil, there's evil out there. We saw that at 9/11 and we saw it on 7th of October. And so we need you in strong leadership positions. When you think there are 35 million of you aged 17 to 24, and only 23% will be taking the military. High school degree, fit, dug free, felon free, okay? So you haven't had a whole lot of competition. You're in that 23%, and you're all gonna go to college, and you're all gonna get a reputable degree, and then you're gonna get a job, and then you're gonna get married, and you're gonna have a family, and you're gonna raise children, and you're gonna be, whether you wanna be or not, a leader in this country. And you're off to a fantastic start. I can't say enough for what we've done here with this program, but we have, with the Solomon Leadership Program, you are so fortunate to have a head start, and you really do. But we're going to be calling on you, and we're going to be throwing about $40 trillion in debt on top of it to solve all these problems that will be facing you. Ain't going to be my problem. I'm not going to be around, folks. But it's going to be all of you right here, and it's very, very important that you take that aboard and do what our country needs you to do. So, I lost it. Oh, there it is. I think on that note, I will end with, from an unknown author, watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. So good luck to you. I'm very proud of you and your parents and everybody that supported this program, and you're off to a great start in life, and I hope to see the continuation as we go through in the years ahead. Thank you.
Hello, and good evening, everyone. My name is Morgan Rodriguez, and I'm a proud Solomon Fellow. Thank you for everyone being here today. Thank you to all the amazing people who are part of Solomon, the mentors, the fellows, and the entire administration. Each of you plays such an incredible role in this program and truly deserves proper recognition. I also want to extend my thanks to all the family and friends who are here to celebrate the great accomplishments of the fellows. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mimon, for coming here today to celebrate me and the other fellows that are in this room. You all deserve your appreciation as well for the role you play in each fellow's life, because if you are in this room today, you have made an impact. And a big congratulations to all the fellows. Can we get a little round of applause, guys? The question I always hear is, where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10, or even 20 years? And I would answer with, well, I see myself. But Solomon has made me realize that it's not about the I, but it's about the we. It's not about where I see myself, but where I see all of us. We are the future, and we are the generation that will bring about change together. Although I've never had a clear idea of where I would fit in as an individual, Solomon has provided me with a clear vision of where we will all be, at the forefront of the next generation of leaders. As Solomon Fellows, we learn and grow from each other. We motivate one another, offer constructive critique, and ultimately, we make each other better. We all come from such unique and diverse backgrounds, offering a wealth of perspectives. We are all leaders in our own unique ways, and it is this diversity that makes us so strong together. Tonight, I encourage you all to look inside yourselves and think of where we will be in the future. How will you make these powerful impacts? How will we be the change we want to see in the world? And how will we encourage others to do the same? Because as Pele says, no individual can win a game by himself. Solomon has equipped us with a plethora of tools to become influential and impactful leaders and create positive change not only alone, but together. Solomon has given me a wealth of knowledge that I can only take with me into the next chapters of my life. The program is filled with amazing components, to the people in this room, to the physical textbook material. There is new knowledge to be gained. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, said by Nelson Mandela. Education is something that cannot be taken away from us, and with this education comes knowledge, power, and more importantly, understanding. So now, let's celebrate the amazing success of Solomon, make some new friends, and eat some food. Thank you.